I used to quote the old Peter and Paul and Mary song, "Music speaks louder than words." There's that way of getting into the heart that reaches people very quickly because they're not expecting a confrontation. They're not armed against an I used to quote the old Peter and Paul and Mary song, "Music speaks louder than words." There's that way of getting into the heart that reaches people very quickly because they're not expecting a confrontation. They're not armed against an argument.
Where words fail, music speaks. I remember being on tour in Eastern Washington. These gentlemen came up to us after our performance at Bing Crosby Theater. They were telling us how much that message that we were there delivering meant to them as a community. And it's all through song.
I had one particular mom that just has stuck in my mind. After one of our holiday performances, I was out in the lobby and she came up to me. She recognized me from one of the solo numbers that I had done and was just so excited. She said, "Oh my goodness, it was so great. It was so wonderful seeing you and everyone up there. You have to meet my son. You have to meet my son. I think he's going to be so excited." I reflected on that experience afterwards.
I used to quote the old Peter and Paul and Mary song, "Music speaks louder than words." There's that way of getting into the
I've got to ask you, I understand that the character of Garrick was ambiguous, but you really wanted to take it in a different direction. And I thought it would have been groundbreaking if you were able to do so. So I've got to ask you, do you feel vindicated that they've taken you into an alternate universe and Bashir and Garrick were married?
Oh, I mean, it's like that's hilarious. But I,
Greetings and welcome to Star Trek Rough Cuts 2. I'm your host, Genevieve. I'm First Officer of the USS Sampo, and today we will be discussing LGBT and Star Trek representation. We are benefiting today the Seattle Men's Chorus. Seattle Men's Chorus is a fine organization based on the Pacific Northwest. My father happens to be a member of the chorus and has been for over 20 years. With that, we'll roll with the first clip.
I've got to ask you, I understand that the character of Garrick was ambiguous, but you really wanted to take it in a different direction. And I thought it would have been groundbreaking if you were able to do so. So I've got to ask you, do you feel vindicated that they've taken you into an alternate universe and Bashir and Garrick were married?
Oh, it's like that's hilarious. But the thing is that I never wanted to take it in a different direction. It was my choice of how, when you're an actor, it's your choice how you play a role. You say the lines, you put on the makeup because that's written, the script is written and so forth. But what goes on inside that's me. And the thing about acting is that you got to have an internal action to make something alive. You can be the prettiest mother jumper on earth. And if there's no life inside of you, it's dull. And so with Garrick, Garrick was a gift, because Garrick was nothing but secrets. Garrick was nothing but his own hidden agenda. And of course, so as I said, and those of you who were here yesterday, it's like I didn't set out to become some kind of, gay icon. Nobody knows.
If you don't mind, can you stand up really quick? Yeah, I'll sit with you on, I'm sorry. Friend of Garrick. That's it. Absolutely love that.
The thing is, I've always known that you can love anybody that you love.
Absolutely.
And there's no law against that, unless you're some idiot country. Don't get me started on that.
Right.
So, as I said, when I first saw Sid is like, and I said this yesterday, one of the most beautiful human beings I've ever seen in my life. And I thought, yeah, this is a great thing. This is really a gift. It's not that I'm just trying to shake him down for information from the Federation and that bullshit, because I know nothing about that. But if I want to get close to this guy because I love him, that is a really great way to make the relationship. And it was a smart move too, because as far as I knew, this was the only episode that I was in. And then when they saw that there was a chemistry, and Sid picked up on it like that, because he's one of the brightest human beings ever. The relationship, the chemistry between us, and the writers saw that, and they're no fools. And they brought me back.
Which ended up being one of the greatest reoccurring characters in Star Trek history.
Well,
That was Andrew Robinson talking about the character of Garrick from Star Trek Deep Space Nine and his connection to the LGBT community. One of the things that I've always loved about the character of Garrick is that it's obvious to anybody who watches the show that he is gay and has a thing for Julian Bashir. What's not as obvious is, are they a couple or are they not a couple? And one of the things that Andy Robinson points out is, in the alternate universe, they very much are a couple, because you get to do that sort of thing. You can have a character who is straight in one universe, like Major Kira Nerys, and then an alternate universe not have an attraction for the same sex as in the mirror universe, which is a great thing to explore, not just from a writer's perspective, but a fan's perspective, because we get to see the things that we want to see in those characters. I will tell you that growing up in the 80s, there was not a whole lot of LGBT representation or LGBT role models. when you look at Garrick and you look at Bashir in the alternate universe, you look at Major Kira Nerys, it is obvious that someone felt that there needed to be representation and role models for the community, and I'm grateful for that, because that was a time where it really wasn't being done on network television. I mean, yes, you would have the gay friend or the gay neighbor or the gay uncle or the gay aunt, but it only lasted one episode, maybe two episodes, you know. Here we had a episodic series that was able to explore that in more than just one or two episodes and tell an actual story that spoke to the not just the community but allies as well. The next clip we're going to look at is from Seattle Men's Chorus, and this is an organization that is very near and dear to my heart. Like I said, my father is a member of the chorus, and to tell a story, growing up, I didn't have my dad as an ally. Our reason to sing is what we're going to be seeing next, but I'm going to say this very quickly. I didn't have a role model or an ally growing up. My dad was very homophobic. The chorus made it where I turned my homophobic father into the strongest ally that I know. And with that, we give you the Seattle Men's Chorus.
I used to quote the old Peter and Paul and Mary song, "Music speaks louder than words." There's that way of getting into the heart that reaches people very quickly because they're not expecting a confrontation. They're not armed against an argument.
Where words fail, music speaks. I remember being on tour in Eastern Washington. These gentlemen came up to us after our performance at Bing Crosby Theater. They were telling us how much that message that we were there delivering meant to them as a community. And it's all through song.
I had one particular mom that just has stuck in my mind. After one of our holiday performances, I was out in the lobby and she came up to me. She recognized me from one of the solo numbers that I had done and was just so excited. She said, "Oh my goodness, it was so great. It was so wonderful seeing you and everyone up there. You have to meet my son. You have to meet my son. I mean, he's going to be so excited." I reflected on that experience afterwards, and it was actually more for her. I could tell that she came to the show and she was able to see her son in all that we were doing. And so when she came up to me with that energy, I really truly believe it was because she was so grateful that she got to see my son is actually going to be okay if there's people like this in the world. And that's just such a powerful, message to be able to share with, our grander community out in Seattle and beyond.
My friends are almost all like mothers and fathers. We have this like a teenage support groups. So I thought like if you have anything and you don't know where to talk to, we can help.
What was it like to see almost 200 gay men on stage at once?
I'll never forget that. It was really cool when they came out and they were in drag. It made me feel so comfortable.
Going into the lobby after the show is one of the highlights. There's one lady, I remember my first show, she came up to me and she gave me a hug, and I now call her Granny. She told me, she said her and her husband used to come every single year. And then once her husband passed, her kids kept that tradition going, so they bring her every year. I've kind of watched her age, you know? And so this past holiday show, I'm used to seeing her at Benaroya, but she came to the Everett show. I went into the lobby and she came up behind me and surprised me. And I was like, what are you doing here? You're supposed to be in Benaroya. You know, it touched my heart and I literally started crying because she wanted to make sure that she saw me. And I can look at the face of her kids standing behind her and they're watching it happen and they're getting emotional. And you can almost kind of tell like they value these moments because they're not sure how many more.
Have gotten postcards or emails saying, I took my family to this show and then afterwards I had the courage to come out to them. Or my uncle brought me to this show because he knew I was having some real deep depressive thoughts and I thought about taking my life and I came to this show and decided otherwise. Yes, we get to sing and it's super fun dancing on stage and getting to be silly, but I know that we actually save people's lives by the work that we do. It's part of being something that's much bigger than me, and I know that SWC will go on for a long time.
What our choruses do is stand up for people and share their stories about their uniqueness. And there's something incredible about the music that gets created that changes hearts and changes minds. True acceptance comes when people see and experience one human to another human. And the music of both of these choruses does that in such a way that in just an hour and a half or 2 hours, people come out different.
When someone needs to access joy, and they also need, for whatever reason, to intersect with the LGBTQ community, they know that Seattle choruses are here for them. And it's really kind of magical. We really are able to dream up anything, any new way that we want to tell our story and create it.
And that really comes from each of our experiences of having had this music make a difference for us personally. That this is not just a business, this is not just a job, it's actually a calling.
The thing that I probably am most excited about for the choruses right now is that there's a new sense of mission politically. I mean, we're being challenged on all fronts again like we haven't been for decades. The choruses really have a reason to sing, and that's what ultimately will join the community and the chorus together. Good time to be singing. Lots to sing about.
This is a celebration.
We've changed, our audiences have changed, and this is a unique opportunity that we can create. You can create something that speaks to the audience, to our city, to our members in different ways.
There's a party going on right here, a celebration that lasts throughout the year. So bring your good times and your laughter too. We're gonna celebrate and party with you. Come on now.
It's our life's work, but it's also the life's work of all the people who created a support system so that it could happen here. We have inherited a legacy, and we are honored to shepherd it and to continue to grow it.
And what is it like to work on those things together?
Well, it's terrible that he never follows any of the new ideas that come up.
No, it really is exciting. It's exciting in a way that I've never been excited before, because I've always been trying to break one mold or another. And now I'm in a situation where I'm being encouraged to really look at every mold. It's really just, it's exciting.
And it's also really important to note that if we were in a situation where we were, just trying to keep the doors open, our ability to innovate is inherently limited. But we're privileged. We are privileged. And what's exciting to me is actually using our privilege to tell diverse stories, tell them in a diverse way, and make a difference in the world.
It's time to come together. It's up to you. What's your pleasure?
Everyone around the world, come on.
The greatness of the legacy cannot be overestimated, and we are now in a place where we are doing the legacy justice, and that's really thrilling to me.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is the Star Trek Rough Cuts 2, put on by the USS Sampo. I'm the First Officer, Denevere. Today we're benefiting the Seattle Men's Chorus. If you look on your screen, you will find a QR code that will send you directly to their donation link. We also have a live chat going. If you'd like to be part of the conversation, please feel free. Love to hear from you. I am proud to introduce the next clip, which is from a good friend of mine and fellow member of the USS Sampo, Matthew Pearson. I hope you enjoy this.
I've got to ask you, I understand that the character of Garrick was ambiguous, but you really wanted to take it in a different direction. And I thought it would have been groundbreaking if you were able to do so.
Hey there, I'm Matt. You might know me as Sentinel Bait, and I'm very excited to be part of this stream talking about LGBT representation in Star Trek. The story I've chosen to talk about isn't actually from the show itself. It's actually from the real world surrounding the show, particularly in the early fandom, when we didn't have this network of social media or the internet in general to connect us all. A lot of fans were communicating their ideas and stories and fan arts over a network of like mailing lists. Eventually these evolved into fanzines, which were these homemade magazines with all these same kind of things, fan fictions, fan arts, sometimes interviews with the cast or the writers that they were able to. And these became popular enough to help boost the fandom into creating conventions, get-togethers, and ultimately proving to Paramount that the show was viable enough to have ongoing incarnations like the Next Generation, or in this case, more so the movies. What a lot of people don't know is that a lot of that fandom had this sweet queer nugget of fan fictions about Kirk and Spock, which became Spirk, a combination of the two names. And these were fan fictions by people who saw like a undercurrent of romance between the two of them. I mean, look at Spock. Spock really is like, it's totally there. He's from this conservative family. He moves away from them. He meets new people, new ideas, finds a cute guy, and finds himself rejecting his family's notions about logic and emotion. And that's something I think a lot of queer people can relate to. And I think that's kind of what a lot of these writers, a lot of them women, a lot of them queer women, were picking up on and writing these fan fiction stories. It blows my mind knowing that all these years I've heard about like the writing campaign, the fact how the franchise organized so powerfully that it convinced Paramount to keep going with the show. Gene Roddenberry was convinced. Gene Roddenberry seemed to have an idea of what was going on the whole time. It just took convincing the overheads. But Yeah, it drives me crazy. It blows my mind that we were not really talked to about this when we heard about these things. A lot of this was like pushed under the rug, but like, guys, we could not have been where we are now with all of that. We would not be here decades later, finally having queer representation in Star Trek. Some of it, a little fanon-like, and some of it very, very canon, which I love. But yeah, there was this the support that they gave the fandom is really ignored. They're the ones that had, the mailing lists. They knew what they were doing. A lot of them were even picked up later on by Paramount when they started putting out the pocketbooks. I had a friend once excitedly show me a early copy of one of the Star Trek pocket novels where there's clearly some suggested romance between Kirk and Spock. Some of the things they say is very like coupley, and that's because all of these fan fiction writers were eventually picked up by Paramount and written and were able to write these novels. Like, it was there, it's always been there, we always have been here. I think it's really crazy though that part of the story is always kind of ignored. That was a little fractured, but I think I got it all out. Thank you very much.
I first and foremost want to say thank you to Matthew for contributing that video. Matthew and I are friends, and before a recent convention, we were discussing this event, and we were discussing the topic of the event. And he was very excited to be a part of this, as much as I'm excited to have him be a part of this. His enthusiasm for the USS Sampo, his enthusiasm for the community is just amazing to me, but I love it. Absolutely love his energy and his devotion to track. Comments that he made about things being canon. We've gone from very subtextual content to, let's just call it what it is. And when you look at Wilson Cruz and Anthony Rapp and Discovery versus, like I mentioned earlier, Garak, is he or isn't he? There's no ambiguity within Discovery and within the current incarnation of Trek. I'm very happy about seeing that kind of representation and knowing that my children and my grandchildren, if I, want to have them, will have representation and a role model to live by. That is a beautiful thing. If you'd like to be part of the conversation, again, we have a comment section. There's a QR code up there. Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that. Howdy to you as well. Our next clip comes from Seattle Men's Chorus. It is Making a Joyful Noise.
I used to quote the old Peter and Paul and Mary song, "Music speaks louder than words."
One of our city's most joyful traditions are the holiday shows from the Seattle Men's Chorus. If you were in a bad mood this morning, you can't be now. That was so much fun.
The Seattle Women's Chorus is celebrating 20 years of entertaining the Pacific Northwest by serenading us with the sweet sounds of Lizzo. That was so much fun.
It is so much fun.
Can we just have them come on New Day every morning?
You can. We'd be happy to.
I always tried to present our concerts as totally professional in every detail, but also casual in their presentation, so that the communication with the audience was just natural. It wasn't overproduced or too canned or anything like that. But getting them involved at Christmas in particular was just a tradition that came about, and the more I got them involved physically, the more they enjoyed it standing up, or Paul's carried on that same tradition. It's just a lot of fun.
When I think about my time in the chorus, I think about why I came to sing for Dennis Coleman. And why I stay is because how making music with this group of people fills me with so much joy.
Before I owned myself, I was living in this closet, and I used to look on YouTube, and I would see this group singing, and I remember thinking one day I wish I could be that happy. So I made a decision years later, after coming out, that I'll move to Seattle, and I was invited to a concert, and literally speaking, while here, watching the concert, it clicked in my mind that I was watching the same group that I used to secretly watch on YouTube. I was at a place of joy in my life finally, and I wanted to be a part of this group because this group represented joy to me before I was able to accept it.
Another joyous experience was being in Tacoma for one of our Christmas runs. A family came up to me and said that my light is very colorful and it's beautiful to see people of color on the stage, and thanked me for representing. And I just took it and the joy in which it was given.
It's almost like it's this huge gratitude to me for standing on a stage singing, when it's totally the opposite, that I have great gratitude for them coming to see us.
Oh my gosh, that was the most thrilling thing ever. As we were coming up, we're like, who's making all this noise out here? We didn't know it was for us.
This many people waiting to say thank you to us is I can't take it all. I can't take it all.
And why do you feel like it's important to support the choruses?
Your joy is really important to see and experience.
I had a great time. It was so much fun.
A fabulous show that knocks you right on your ass.
Bringing joy into the world. Thank you for that.
It's bringing much needed joy.
It's fun. More fun than anything I've ever seen.
It's fun. It's exciting. It's interactive and joyful.
And it's clever.
Yeah.
I loved it. It was so much fun. Watch it. It's worth it. It's so entertaining.
We just love the quality of the music and then, of course, the fun.
The chorus is incredible and what they stand for. So, yes, I support them. That's like, yes. And it's the holidays. Their spirit is wonderful.
When you see the joy on other people's faces, your sore feet from standing on the risers and your sore back and you're sweating, it didn't matter anymore, because what mattered was that folks were enjoying themselves, that folks were engaging in the music and enjoying our message. And that's the most important part. That's why we do this.
When someone needs to access joy, and they also need, for whatever reason, to intersect with the LGBTQ community, they know that Seattle choruses are here for them.
And it's not just that they access the joy, they appreciate the mission and what the organization stands for and are anxious for us to succeed.
For over 25 years. Every show is just a magnificent, uplifting experience that I enter into the season with. Come enjoy. It's a good thing for all of us.
And welcome back to Star Trek Rough Cuts 2. If you're just joining us, welcome. But if you've been with us from the beginning, welcome back. I noticed we have some comments. Glad you're all here. If you'd like to comment on anything that you see or want to get involved in the conversation, please feel free to do so. Again, we have the QR code for donations. It has been a wonderful experience being a Star Trek fan. When I was a kid, I watched Star Trek on repeats, And we used to have a crabapple tree in my side yard. And me and my friends used to play Star Trek, and there was this big branch that stretched out over the side road, Mulberry Lane. It's where my dad used to park his station wagon. But that was the captain's chair, and because it was my tree, I was Captain Kirk. And my friends played Bones, Scotty, Spock, and McCoy. You know, at a young age, Star Trek really spoke to me because having a sister who is African American, who was adopted as well as I was adopted, it taught me that through Lieutenant Uhura, she had a bright future ahead of her because Star Trek painted a picture of the future where everybody came together for mutual benefit. With that, I give you our next clip, which has money that you donate goes directly to the Seattle Men's Chorus, so they can further their mission through song. And with that, I will give you George Takei.
Come on, put your hands together.
One of our city's most
As you point out in the book, Gene Roddenberry did create this truly progressive vision. I mean, with all races and ethnicities, all on equal playing fields, all with non-stereotypical positions. The first interracial kiss was on the Enterprise. I mean, these were things in the 60s, which was enormous. As a gay man, did you ever think, I wonder if we could address being gay on a television show like that? Or was that back then still a bridge too far?
I had suggested that idea. You know, we've been dealing with every social issue. I was still closeted then.
Right.
So I spoke as a liberal.
Just as an interested party.
Yes. He was having a party, and we were all, you know, around the pool. Most of the people were on one end, and Gene went in for a swim, and he was paddling at the other end, kind of quiet. People weren't there. And so I went in the pool and swam out there, and I said, you know, we've dealt with almost every social issue, every civil rights, human rights issue, and the gay issue is another important one. And have you ever considered addressing that? And he said, you know, you're right. I'd like to do that. But, he said, I'm walking a tightrope. The interracial kiss was very controversial.
Right, when Captain Kirk kissed Lieutenant Uhura, it was like
a
unbelievable.
Black woman. And so I've got to keep the show on to tell the stories that I'm telling, which aren't being dramatized metaphorically on any of the other show. I've got to keep the show on. And that, as you say, may be a bridge too far.
As you point out in the book, Gene Roddenberry did create this truly progressive vision.
Welcome back to Star Trek Rough Cuts 2. Again, I am your host, Genevieve. So, the thing I liked about the clip we just watched is George Takei. George Takei, for those who don't know, played Ensign Hikaru Sulu in the original series. And later, Captain Sulu in the movies. But when George Takei made the logical, in my opinion, choice to come out, you know, he was met with a lot of support, as well as a lot of not support. But for those who don't know, George Takei deliberately played Sulu straight. You know, we weren't at a place where a gay man playing a gay character would fly in the 60s. We see that now, but we didn't see that then. You know, again, I will say that Star Trek is about a future where all of mankind is welcome. And, you know, that is, how should I put this? That is a wonderful thing, but at this time in our society, we need that more than ever. We need that message of coming together for a common goal. We need that message of camaraderie, not division. And it's, you know, I love Star Trek. I love being able to do things like this where I get to connect with other fans. That's why I go to conventions. That's why I dress up. And, you know, being able to connect with other Star Trek fans and say, I'm a Star Trek fan too. Here's the episodes that I like, here are the episodes I don't like, and here's why, and not be judged for it. Be able to have people that say, okay, here's my favorite episodes, and I like this episode, and here's why, and I don't like this episode, and here's why, and here's why I think the episode you like may be a little weak or maybe a little strong, and that's okay because, you know, we get into that discourse, we get into that conversation, and we connect as people. Before we get to our next clip, I just want to say thank you to the Seattle Men's Chorus for letting us be a part of this. Thank you to the USS Sampo for letting me be a part of this. I'm honored to be your host today. And with that, the Seattle Men's Chorus, salute to Dolly. Remember that all benefits, all money raised goes to the Seattle Men's Chorus.
As you point out in the book, Gene Roddenberry did create this truly progressive vision. I mean, with all races and ethnicities, all on equal playing fields, all with non-stereotypes.
Well, good morning and welcome back to our final fabulous segment here on City Line. Yep, you saw them at the beginning of the show. We are just in awe and full of anticipation and excitement to get to know our Seattle Men's Chorus. They are here today. 9 of them are here in the studio, and I have their beautiful director, Paul Caldwell, on the couch. Mr. Paul Caldwell, God, what a morning you've had. You have finagled 9 of your 300 and some odd members here in our studio. And let's talk about what can audiences expect, because you're creating a show, or you've created a show called Hello, Dolly. And I'm not talking Barbara Streisand.
No,
we're
we're not.
Dolly Parton.
Dolly Parton.
Dolly Parton. What can they expect from this performance?
Well, in a word, joy.
Yes.
I mean, you know, in a word, joy. When the Seattle Men's Chorus does a show, you can expect theatrical magic.
Yes.
Always. So there's going to be rhinestones, big wigs. Okay, I'll tell you what. There might even be a lasso involved.
There
we've
we
got
go.
300 singers. No, I'm sorry, 200 singers, 30 dancers, a big band, including a drummer who spent 15 years in Nashville working with Dolly herself. So that's been a lot of fun. It's a spectacle. That's what it's going to be. And we're really thrilled. You know, we've been performing our holiday show in Tacoma for decades.
You have.
And we wanted a reason to come back in the springtime. So we created this show that, anyway, Christmas comes twice this year.
Oh, yes. And
Yeah,
what
yeah,
a
yeah.
great shot this is. Look at this. So how...
That's us working 9 to 5.
9 to 5. Okay, so let's talk about, my wife and I have Dolly Parton on autoplay in our house. She just keeps going. So how did you choose songs? Because there isn't a bad song that Dolly does.
There are hundreds, absolutely. And many, to a large extent, we sort of let Dolly herself guide us.
Okay.
You know? There's, she's talked a lot about which songs mean the most to her.
Right.
And we used that information. Of course, we wanted to include the greatest hits, 9 to 5, Jolene, and of course, Coat of Many Colors.
Yes.
What Dolly says all the time is her favorite song ever. It's about, it's a song about the desire to fit in, the desire to be accepted, and the struggles that we all face trying to accomplish that. It's really quite beautiful.
I've often said, if you don't know the song, The Coat of Many Colors, I don't want to know you. Get away
and I'll
from
tell
me.
you what, we turn it into this incredibly beautiful visual moment as
Yes.
well.
Oh.
It'll choke you up a little bit, I promise.
So how do you, besides highlighting her beautiful musical abundance and creativity, she also is about philanthropy and activism. How does that come through in the show?
Oh my gosh, I mean, is she the greatest philanthropist? Maybe.
Yes, I
I
think
mean,
so.
you have the Imagination Library, which has provided books to millions and millions of children, completely funded by her. Let us not forget that she gave, like, I don't know, $1 million or something to speed up the development of a vaccine for COVID.
That's right.
Particularly important to us is that she's always been a very strong ally for the queer community. And, you know, the Seattle Men's Chorus was founded and took root and grew under the shade of that tree. So we felt like it was time for us to say thank you to Dolly for doing that. It's really quite extraordinary. Dolly was an ally, I think, before the word allyship was in common use.
I think you are correct about that. She absolutely was. What has been the most exciting and challenging part of preparing for this concert?
Oh my gosh, I think the biggest challenge has been moving it around. I mean,
Yeah,
it's a huge
with
show.
all
It's
those
the
moving
cast and
parts.
crew probably is 250 people, right? And so you've got all the people moving from Seattle to Bellingham to Tacoma to Everett, but then all the equipment. I mean, listen.
Look at this.
It takes a big butch truck and a big crew to get this show on the road, packed up, unloaded, and but oh, look at that jacket!
Look
Oh,
at
isn't
that.
that fun? But it's also been the greatest joy, you know,
Yes.
to be able to share the magic of this experience with so many people throughout the region, to show up for our community and the larger area in such a profound way and experience them showing up for us. It's quite moving and exciting all at the same time.
Absolutely. Okay, so this is the hard question. Do you have a favorite Dolly song?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, it's sort of like walking up to someone in the grocery store and asking them, you know, which is their favorite child. Okay, I'll think about it. You know, there's a song that a lot of people don't know. It actually, Dolly got an Oscar nomination for it. It's called Traveling Through. And here's the thing about it. Number one, it's beautiful.
Right.
It's the Seattle Men's Chorus at their finest. I mean, the band stops playing and you just have 200 tenors and basses standing there singing magnificently. But the song is, I don't want to spoil the story because it's a beautiful, beautiful story, unforgettable story, but it's heartfelt in a way that really kind of sneaks up on you.
Makes you cry.
It will bring a tear to you to your eye when you least expect it.
Yes.
And then, of course, we come out of that and go right back to unbridled joy, which is what Dolly Parton does all the time.
It does. I mean, yes, she does. You know what? That needs to be a T-shirt or a bumper sticker. Unbridled joy.
Unbridled joy.
Doesn't it, though? Absolutely. So, what do you hope? This is my last question before you get up and go walk over there and get these 9 artists ready to go. What do you hope that people take away from this performance?
Oh, that's easy. Happiness and hope.
Yes.
You know, in times like these, there may be no greater purpose than not just finding happiness, but making happiness happen. And Dolly Parton has done that her whole life, and the Seattle Men's Chorus is here to follow her lead on that.
So on that note, my love, stand up with that beautiful body, go over there and talk to those people. And I'm going to say goodbye to our audience and say, you know what? It is always a pleasure and a privilege to be in your home. We've given you some great things to think about in this past hour. Go out there and be a part of the process, and above all, pay it forward. And when you come back, as always, we're waiting for you right here at Cityline. Take care. All right, Paul, take it away.
Jolene, 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 I'm begging Jolene, 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 Jolene. Please don't take him just because you can. Your beauty is beyond compare. Your flaming locks of auburn hair, with ivory skin and eyes of air. Jolene. Your smile is like a breath of spring. Your voice is soft like summer rain, and I cannot compete with you, Jolene. He talks about you in his sleep, and there's nothing I can do to keep from crying when he calls your name, Jolene. And I can easily understand how you could easily take my man, but you don't know what he means to me, Jolene. Jolene, Jolene, Jolene. I'm begging of you, please don't take my man. Jolene, 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 Jolene. Please don't take him just because you can. You could have your choice of men, but I could never love again. He's the only one for me, Jolene. Jolene, 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 Jolene. I'm begging of you, please don't take my man. Jolene, 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 Jolene. Please don't take him just because you can.
Welcome back. For those of us just joining us, I am Denevere, First Officer of USS Sampo. If you're still with us, thank you. Just wanted to give a shout out to United Way of Pierce County. They do some marvelous things for the people of Seattle and Tacoma area, and we'd be amiss if we didn't mention them. I want to say that it's absolutely okay to say that here. This is a safe space, and we appreciate your comments. You know, I will tell you, when I came out to my dad, I was 40, and he'd been in the chorus for 10 years at the time. I was still a little nervous. My friends, my inner circle knew. None of my family knew. Suspected, but didn't know. But when I came out to him, what I found was two things. One, I found a new ally, but I also found love and support that I didn't know. And I am truly grateful for that. In 2016, I was able to march in Pride with PFLAG, my dad's PFLAG group, which was a great honor. You know, we've come a long way from the 60s and the 70s. We've come a long way from Stonewall riots to now. There's still work to be done, but you know, there are those who share our values, and for that I'm truly grateful. One of those groups, the Track Federation, shares the same goal as the Seattle Men's Chorus: unity, community, and you know. And I say unity and community as two separate things because what we have learned is they're not the same thing. Unfortunately, we've learned that time and time again, but Seattle Men's Chorus and Track Federation share the same goals of unity and community. And the next clip we're going to see is from the Track Federation.
Well, good morning and welcome back to our final fabulous segment here on.
Hi there. My name is Danny Black. Star Trek has always been important to me since the first time I watched it because of the fact that it always promotes infinite diversity in infinite combinations. Knowing that there's a place in the future where we can all belong and all take part is massively important. I wanted to go ahead and take a step-by-step look at Star Trek and its evolution of LGBT representation. My father first introduced me to the original series. Now, in the original series, that wasn't something that was really talked about. But I mean, when you see Sulu running around the ship all sweaty and greased up with a sword, I think we could have all picked up on that. George Takei has always been an advocate since the time he was able to, up until now, for LGBT representation and the rights of human beings to be themselves. I always identified with Spock because of the fact that he had that split he was always struggling with. I definitely got that being raised in a conservative household and yet having liberal ideas. However, Sulu was the steadfast character for me. He's the badass on board. And watching him go consistently from the original series to the animated series to the films, and then watching him in real life as he told his story and spoke up for his community, I could not have been more happy. Knowing that one of the most steadfast figures in the original series crew was canonically gay, told me that there is hope for a good representation for our community. Sometimes it's just about being a normal human being and contributing positively to society while also earning the respect of your peers. Now, going to the next generation, I, as a non-binary person, was shook the first time I watched the episode where Riker falls in love with Soren, the Janai character. Watching somebody who is a character from a non-binary planet, or at least a planet where having a specific choice is looked down upon, choose for themselves, this is who I identify as. I'm going to be that, no matter what anybody says, was huge. And of course, the end of the episode was absolutely crushing as Soren was forced to conform, through force, to the non-binary ideology of her planet. And that has always said a lot to me about the fact that societies, as a whole, will always have a hard time grasping gender concepts, regardless of which side of the fence they're on. And it also tells me that there are people out there, like Riker, who will 100% stand up for and literally risk everything for that person to still live authentically if they so choose. There are other characters in like Deep Space Nine where we have the Mirror Universe and we see Kira and Dax making out. People around me were saying, that's just a cheap cop-out. That's just putting the gay agenda into Star Trek. But to me, I was happy as a clam because I saw two characters that I deeply respected, regardless of their universe, go against everything that we as the audience think is appropriate to be in love or to at least find happiness. But we see a progression, and we see conversations about love who you want to love. Love authentically. Don't let anyone tell you that your color or any other feature of you gets to dictate how happy you are or what rights you have. I'll tell you what, watching Stamets fall in love twice, despite death getting in the way, to a man, a wonderful doctor, melted my heart. As I watch Discovery and I see Adira and Gray, and I get to see what we already kind of talked about with Dax really fleshed out, where, you know what? There's multiple genders within this person. And all of them live in a harmony because there's always a spirit of good intent, of learning, and ultimately of service to that character. Watching these two characters bring forward a new reality for us Trek fans, that was powerful. And as we get into Strange New Worlds, we have Captain Angel, a character played by a transgender person without any pause. And the message they send about being authentic to who you are rather than what makes you who you are, as Spock is struggling with human versus Vulcan. Those are all pieces of you rather than a choice. I am in love. It's a wonderful universe. And to me, it tells me that I can be steadfast. I can be true to myself, whether it's a moment, a lifetime, one special person, whatever it might be. But I can also collaborate and exist without question, without doubt. Star Trek is teaching us that there is a place for everyone. Straight people, gay people, trans people, intersex people, whatever it might be. No one is bound by who they are, but rather only by their potential. And that can always change as we grow and learn together, as we boldly go where no one has gone before.
Welcome back. Thank you for joining us for Trek Rough Cuts 2. Again, I am Denevere, First Officer of the USS Sampo. You know, the thing about Trek Federation that I love is we're a worldwide organization of Star Trek fans. I don't know every member, but I've met a few, and I absolutely love the people that I've met. It is amazing that we have such an organization that is dedicated to put in more good in the world. You know, much like the Seattle Men's Chorus, they do it through song, we do it through cosplay and conventions and communication. You know, it's really a wonderful thing. I love the comments that I'm seeing and absolutely agree with the statement and the sentiment. I am grateful that you guys are getting involved in the conversation, because that is what we need now more than ever, is more conversations, not less. The next clip we're going to see is the Seattle Men's Chorus Year in Review, Disco Inferno, and we're going to run that now.
Hi there. My name is Danny Black. Star Trek has always been important to me since the first time I watched it because of the fact
it's Seattle Women's Chorus with music from all the girl groups.
Supporting any level of the arts is top priority.
Making history in Seattle with the help of some Disney magic. Now the Seattle Men's Chorus is teaming up with Disney for the first time ever.
Seattle Men's Chorus will be one of the first in the nation to perform Disney Pride in concert,
which is the first time in Disney's 100 years that they've ever had a full-length choral concert, let alone anything specific to LGBTQ stories.
and the love just exudes. I mean, that's what I see when I attend a show.
What a beautiful and exciting time to be able to share these songs.
It is. This is like one of the best events of the year that you're going to have. Come out, sing along, and yeah, just enjoy yourself.
The Seattle Women's Chorus has been collecting popular books that have been pulled off shelves elsewhere in the country, leading up to a concert on the theme of banned books.
The Seattle Men's Chorus is known for making music that makes a difference, and they have a new show coming up celebrating love even in the most challenging circumstances.
Welcome back. I hope you've enjoyed that clip. Again, Seattle Men's Chorus is an organization that's very near and dear to my heart. I love music. I love show tunes. I love We're going to show a clip called Aurora and wrap it up.
It's Seattle Women's Chorus with music.
Of walking out on my own.
And do not let me see you or your pet Vulcan in here again, human.
That's right. Keep walking, Captain Crag.
I believe he's getting that chair to hit you with.
Oh, we should go.
Captain, in my time as your first officer, I have seen you enter numerous altercations, but I have yet to see you win one.
What about that Nausicaan at X2? He went down like a sack of potatoes.
He injured his back lifting you over his head.
That counts.
Perhaps you should, as the Earth saying goes, pick upon someone of your own stature.
Why would I fight someone I knew I could beat? That's cowardly. And hey, I left those two guys for you because I thought Vulcans were supposed to be strong.
Strength is relative, but 2 Klingon warriors might be a better match for a Vulcan male.
Hey, don't sell yourself short. That one guy is going to be walking funny for a few days.
He would not listen to reason, and he also bit me.
Yeah, Klingons do that. I'll take a look at it when we get back to Aurora. Ooh, that looks like it smarts.
Pain is a state of mind.
Maybe, but infection isn't. And Klingons aren't known for dental hygiene. We've got antibiotics in here somewhere.
I can manage.
Okay, I'm sorry. But Crag and his crew have been throwing their weight around ever since they showed up in this sector, and it was time somebody stood up to them.
And you felt that somebody should be the 2 of us.
That's the beauty of it. The 2-woman crew of a cargo hauler against the warriors of a Klingon battlecruiser. All we had to do was hold our own, and they'd be so humiliated they'd have to leave the sector.
Captain, you employ the most abstruse form of logic.
Knightling. Abstruse? Where does she get these words? Oh! Tling? Tling!
Captain, help me.
Tling! What happened? What's wrong? Tling? Tling? Well, I'm no doctor, but it looks like you're the whole package, inside and out.
I shall understand your colloquialism to mean that I am indeed male, and not only in appearance.
See for yourself.
And this label was on the vial when you bought it?
It must have come unstuck in the cabinet. How was I supposed to know it said Bioxin underneath?
What is this Alluramate?
It's a kind of beauty supplement, like vitamins. Or something.
And what exactly is this supplement supposed to do?
Well, not this. I don't want to be a guy.
I do not wish to be a guy either. I will assume you do not know this Alluramate's physiologic properties.
No. The guy I bought it from said it was an ancient secret.
Sold in used Bioxin vials.
Well, I never took it, did I?
No, I did.
Okay, look, can't we just analyze what's left and see what it's made of?
That would only answer part of the equation. We must know how this Alluramate is intended to affect the body before we can understand what went wrong. The logical course of action is to first speak with its creator.
It took some digging, but I found the box I was looking for. Some of this should fit.
And I found your so-called Dr. Smith.
That's him! Wait, Harcourt Fenton Mudd? What kind of name is that?
The name of a notorious criminal and trader in goods of dubious worth and integrity, much like himself, whose last recorded crime in Federation space was to escape from a high-security rehabilitation facility.
But he was in the Zenarian Medical Registry, the government registry. I checked it myself.
Captain, Zenarians require no proof of training or competency to register as a physician, presumably due to the fact that the penalty for medical negligence among Zenarians is typically death at the hands of the patient's surviving family.
Well, doctor or not, we have to talk to him. I met him back on X2, but that was a while ago.
It appears that he has closed his subnet account. Therefore, we cannot contact him directly, even if that would do any good. His line of work does not generally encourage correspondence with previous customers. From a search of the public merchnet, however, I have deduced that he is currently headed for Stone's Throw Station.
Merchnet doesn't track passengers.
But it does track goods. Zenarians are lax on many things, but not on taxes and duties. A crate containing one denobulin chemical synthesizer, various bulk biochemicals, and a container of Bioxin vials is en route to Stone's Throw Station, registered to a Leo Walsh, one of Mr. Mudd's known aliases. Stone's Throw is just a week's journey from here, at maximum warp for Aurora.
Well, it would be if her impulse engine wasn't in a million pieces. You know I've been overhauling it.
Perhaps less time spent brawling in bars would hasten its repair.
Well, if you want to hasten getting out of here, you're going to have to help me.
You have never asked before.
There's a first time for everything. In the meantime, there's a bunch of men's stuff in this tote that should probably fit.
Why would you have a box of men's clothing?
I never said you were my first officer. The last one left some stuff behind. I washed it all. Here, there's even stuff to sleep in. And we should both get some sleep. We can tackle the impulse drive a lot better on a little rest.
Safety equipment on the worksite should include radiation-resistant clothing, eye and ear protection, as well as helmets and brushless gloves. Before repairs can commence, it is essential to secure the worksite. Proper signage is recommended, and it is also recommended that access to the worksite be restricted by.
Morning.
I have eaten, but I made breakfast for you so that we may get an early start.
Thanks.
Is the temperature setting too cold for you, Captain?
No, well, you're a guy now, so I thought I should cover up. I mean, I don't want to brag, but most guys get a load of this and can't keep their hands off.
I can assure you that you are in no danger of that from me.
Well, sure, but I'll understand if you don't want to help me with the drive today. You know, the two of us, alone back there, in such close quarters.
I shall await you in engineering, and you needn't worry about the close quarters, Captain. Even were I truly male, your considerable human charms would hardly be a match for Vulcan discipline.
Vulcan discipline, huh? Sling, did you turn off the automatic door sensor?
Yes, Captain. The Basics of Engine Repair manual that you sent me suggests that one should secure the work area, including placing access doors on manual.
That was good thinking.
Thank you, Captain. Shall we begin?
Let's do it.
You don't wanna, but you just gotta have her now. You know you're a goner, even though she's not your kind of gal. There's something about her you can't put your finger on. Feels so right, something's gotta be wrong. But the only thing you know for sure is you don't wanna, but you just gotta have her now. You know you're a goner, 'cause she just might be your kind of gal. She's got a hook in you and you're tugging on her line. For just one look and you're feeling so fine. And now you're not quite so sure that you don't wanna.
And welcome back. Thank you for joining us. I would like to say a huge thank you to the Seattle Men's Chorus, and again point out that the QR code is on the screen. If you'd like to donate, that would be wonderful. I'd like to thank the Tri Federation and the USS Sampo and our viewers. I'd like to thank Star Trek fans around the world for letting me do this. This has been a wonderful experience, and I thank you greatly.